Thomas just got his paycheck notification, $5,000 net, same as every month for the past 3 years. He's sitting in his car in the parking garage, engine off, phone in hand, and he's staring at his bank account with a feeling he still doesn't understand. $340 left. $340 for a man who makes $5,000 a month. He doesn't move. He doesn't call anyone. He just sits there in the dark, in a car he's still paying off, wondering where it all went. 3 miles away, in a smaller apartment, Matthew just walked through his door. $2,500 net. Half of Thomas's salary. He drops his keys on the counter, opens his banking app, and smiles, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand something that banks don't want you to know, something your employer has absolutely no interest in explaining to you, something school never taught you, because nobody had anything to gain from you knowing it. Financial freedom is not about your salary. It's not about luck. It's not reserved for trust fund kids, Silicon Valley founders, or hedge fund managers staring at 6 screens. It's a mechanism, precise, accessible, that anyone can activate. Even on $2,500 a month, especially on $2,500 a month, stay with me, because what you're about to discover in the next few minutes might change the trajectory of your financial life for the next 20 years. And the truth nobody dares to say out loud, the one we're putting on the table today, without sugarcoating as any, is going to make you uncomfortable, and then set you free. Here's what we need to figure out. Why do people making $5,000 a month end up with nothing, while others making half that reach financial freedom before 50? What is the invisible trap the system has built around your paycheck, and that almost everyone falls into without ever realizing it? And what is the one rule that every truly financially free person applies, without exception, in silence from the very first dollar they ever earned? We're going to answer all 3, but not yet. Thomas makes $5,000 a month. Matthew makes $2,500 a month. Both think they're working towards something. Only one of them is right, and it's not the one you think. Picture 2 men, same city, same age, 35, same vague ambition to one day get ahead. Thomas, senior consultant at a firm in downtown Chicago. $5,000 net a month. A 2-bedroom apartment in a nice neighborhood. A German car on a lease. Dinner out twice a week. 2 vacations a year. Subscriptions to everything that exists. A gym he visits 3 times a month. Clothes bought because the sale was happening. A new iPhone every 2 years. He lives well, really well. Nobody around him feels sorry for him. Matthew, technician at a mid-sized company in the suburbs. $2,500 net a month. A 1-bedroom apartment. A 2014 Honda Civic with 90,000 miles that still starts every morning. Groceries from the discount aisle. 1 vacation a year, close to home. He lives fine. No excess. Nothing missing. The night Thomas sits in that parking garage staring at $340, Matthew opens his banking app and sees a number that grew by $287 this month. Not in his checking account, in his investment portfolio, running quietly while he sleeps. Here's the first truth nobody dares to say out loud. A salary doesn't make you free. A salary creates an illusion of security that looks like freedom, but is its exact opposite. Thomas makes $5,000 a month. That's a fact. But here's what you don't see behind that number. Thomas needs that $5,000 to survive. Every month. No exceptions. If he loses his job tomorrow, he has enough to last 2 months. Maybe 3 if he really cuts back. After that, nothing. His salary isn't wealth. It's a drip line. He is, technically, 90 days away from financial catastrophe. On $5,000 a month. And he's not alone. According to a Federal Reserve report, nearly 40% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing money or selling something. Not 40% of minimum wage workers, 40% of Americans, across all income levels. The paycheck fills the account. The lifestyle drains it. The cycle repeats, indefinitely, until retirement, which keeps getting pushed back and delivers less and less. That's what employment actually looks like for most people in America. A very well-paid treadmill. But Matthew discovered something. Not an insider secret. Not a technique reserved for the wealthy. Not a risky investment that only experts understand. Something terrifyingly simple. Something that economics textbooks explain in 2 pages that nobody reads. Something that, applied consistently over 20 years on a $2,500 salary, produces a result that Thomas, with his $5,000 a month, will never reach if he keeps going the way he is. I'll tell you what it is in a moment. But first, let me show you how Thomas got here. Because Thomas's story isn't a story of vice, not irresponsibility, not a man blowing his money on frivolous things. It's a story of a trap, a very well-designed trap. That works better the more you earn. Here's how the trap works. And it has a name. Lifestyle inflation. Thomas started his career at $2,200 a month. He lived in a studio apartment. He ate ramen on Mondays. He took the bus. He didn't complain. He knew it was temporary. Then the first raise, $2,700. He got a bigger apartment. Made sense. He'd earned it. Then the promotion, $3,500, the car, the restaurants, the trip to Europe. Made sense. His lifestyle should reflect his professional level. Then the senior role, $5,000, the nice neighborhood, the lease, the dinners, the subscriptions. Made sense. That's what successful people do. At every income milestone, a new layer of spending. Perfectly synchronized, perfectly natural, perfectly invisible. That's lifestyle inflation. Your income goes up. Your expenses go up at exactly the same rate. Your ability to build anything stays close to zero. And the trap is even more vicious because it doesn't look like a trap. It looks like a reward, like success, like what people who are doing well are supposed to do. Meanwhile, Matthew never changed his lifestyle, not because he had no choice, because he understood something Thomas never learned. Matthew follows one rule, just one. Since the very first day he received his first paycheck, the 20% rule. Before paying anything, rent, groceries, utilities, he automatically transfers 20% of his net income to a separate investment account, an account he doesn't look at, an account with no debit card attached, an account that exists in his daily life only as a number growing each month. $500 a month, invested in a low-cost index fund tracking the global market for 10 years. You want to know what that looks like? At a historical average return of 8% per year, the real inflation-adjusted return of major indices over the last 50 years, $500 a month for 10 years produces approximately $91,000. Matthew has $91,000 working for him right now. Thomas has $340. Read that again if you need to. The man who earns half as much has accumulated 200 times more. Not because he's smarter, not because he got lucky. Not because he made unbearable sacrifices. Because he applied one rule. Simple, systematic, automatic. And now here's the truth nobody dares to say. The system you operate in is not neutral. It is designed, precisely, deliberately, efficiently, for you to spend everything you earn. Every raise is immediately followed by a cultural, social, and advertising signal telling you exactly how to spend it. A nicer car, a bigger apartment, a farther vacation, more expensive clothes, better restaurants. This isn't an accident. It's an entire economic system built on your consumption, not your savings, not your freedom, your consumption. Companies need you to buy. Banks need you to borrow. The government needs you to spend, to collect sales tax. Your employer needs you to need your paycheck, so you show up Monday morning. Everyone benefits from you staying on the treadmill, except you. And here's the truth nobody dares to say out loud in a personal finance video on YouTube. Financial freedom is not a goal the system helps you reach. It's a goal you reach despite the system, actively, consciously, by resisting every signal that tells you to spend what you just earned. Year 5. Let's look at the actual numbers for Thomas and Matthew. Thomas, $5,000 a month. Cumulative income over 5 years, $300,000. Financial assets, roughly $8,000 in emergency savings, no investments, no portfolio, just a savings account he occasionally tops up when he has a little breathing room. Real net worth, $8,000. Matthew, $2,500 a month. Cumulative income over 5 years, $150,000. Financial assets, roughly $36,700 invested, plus compound interest accumulating. His portfolio has already generated thousands of dollars without him lifting a finger. Real net worth, $36,700. Thomas earned $150,000 more than Matthew over 5 years, and he has $28,700 less. Let that number sit. The man who earned twice as much has 4 times less. And this is just the beginning, because compound interest is only getting started, and what it does over time is devastating. Year 10. Matthew hasn't changed much about his life. Same apartment, same car, same habits. He got a small raise, $2,800 now, and automatically increased his monthly contribution to $560. Without thinking twice, his portfolio is now worth approximately $102,000. $102,000. Generating at 8% per year about $8,160 per year. That's $680 per month. Matthew now earns $680 a month without working. Not enough to live on, not yet. But here's what that number really represents. That's $680 of rent paid by his money. Not his time, not his energy, not his presence at the office. By his money. His money is working, while he sleeps, while he's on vacation, while he's watching a movie on a Sunday night. Thomas, meanwhile, decided to turn things around. He opened a high-yield savings account. He's been putting $200 a month in it for 6 months. He's proud of himself. His bank rep congratulated him. His high-yield savings account earns 4.5% per year. Inflation is running around 3 to 4%. His savings aren't gaining real value. They're losing it. Slowly, silently. With his bank's enthusiastic approval. Year 15. Matthew is 50. His portfolio is worth approximately $214,000. It now generates roughly $1,425 per month in passive income. His salary is $3,000. His total monthly expenses, rent, food, transportation, entertainment, around $2,100. Do the math. His passive income now covers 68% of his monthly expenses. He no longer truly needs to work to survive. He still goes to work because he likes what he does, because it structures his days, because he'd miss the human connection, but he no longer works because he has to. That's financial freedom. Not a yacht, not a villa in the Hamptons, not an offshore account. It's the moment when your passive income exceeds your expenses. The exact moment when showing up at the office becomes a choice, not an obligation. Thomas, meanwhile, is also 50. He just learned his company is restructuring his department. He might lose his position. He scheduled a meeting with his financial advisor to discuss his options. He doesn't have many. He has an apartment, a car on a lease, and $23,000 spread across various accounts. 15 years of a career earning $5,000 a month, and $23,000 in financial assets. He's not irresponsible. He's not stupid. He is the product of a system that had absolutely no interest in teaching him what Matthew understood at 25. Here's the real cost of the salary treadmill that nobody ever calculates. Thomas earned, over 15 years of a growing salary, roughly $720,000 gross. Let's say $540,000 net after taxes and deductions. $540,000. That passed through his hands, spent, consumed, evaporated into a lifestyle that gave him comfort, pleasure, and social status, and left him with $23,000. That's a retention rate of 4.3%. For every dollar Thomas earned over 15 years, he kept 4 cents. 96 cents are gone into restaurants, cars, subscriptions, vacations, clothes, gadgets, things he can barely remember. Matthew earned $270,000 net over the same period. He kept $214,000 of it in the form of invested assets. That's a retention rate of 79%. The difference between these two men isn't their salary, it's their retention rate. Remember Thomas in that parking garage, 7:30 p.m. Thursday night, $340 left. That feeling he doesn't understand. Now he understands it. That feeling is the cost of 15 years spent earning a lot and keeping almost nothing. It's not guilt, it's not shame, it's clarity. Late, but real. And here's what Thomas does that night, sitting in his car before going upstairs. He opens an investing app. Not to speculate, not to gamble on crypto. To set up an automatic transfer of $500 a month into a global index fund. On the first of every month, before paying anything else. That's it. That gesture, that simple, invisible, silent gesture, is the most important financial decision he's made in 15 years. Because it's not too late. That's the other truth nobody says out loud. It's never too late to start the machine. Now, I need to be honest with you, because if I told you this story and concluded that financial freedom is simple and accessible to everyone without effort, I'd be lying to you. It's not simple. Not because the mechanics are complicated, they aren't, but because you live in a world that does everything in its power to stop you from applying them. Every time you open Instagram, someone is showing you a lifestyle that makes you want to spend. Every time you get a raise, the people around you expect you to treat yourself. Every time you resist a purchase, someone in your life tells you you're being cheap, that life is short, that money doesn't buy happiness. Those voices are real. That pressure is real, and it doesn't disappear because you watched a YouTube video. And there are situations where investing 20% of your income is genuinely difficult. If you're paying off high-interest debt, start there. A credit card at 20% annual interest destroys faster than any investment can build. Pay it off first, invest after. If you don't have 3 months of expenses in emergency savings, build that cushion before investing. Long-term investing can't absorb emergency withdrawals. Build the safety net first. And if 20% is truly impossible right now, start with 5%, then 10%. Consistency matters infinitely more than the amount. $50 invested every month for 20 years will beat $500 invested irregularly over the same period. Consistency is the only skill that truly matters. But here's the truth that lives between the numbers. The one nobody dares to say out loud. The salary isn't Thomas's problem, and the salary isn't Matthew's solution. Thomas's problem, and maybe yours, is that he confused earning money with building wealth. These are two fundamentally different things. Earning money means trading your time for dollars. That's what you do when you work. It's necessary, but it's not enough. Because your time is limited, your energy is limited, and your income stops the day you stop. Building wealth means putting your money to work in your place. It means creating assets that generate income independently of your presence. It means building a system that keeps running while you sleep, while you're sick, while you're on vacation, while you age. Matthew isn't building financial freedom despite his modest salary. He's building it because of what he does with his salary, and that distinction changes everything. Because continuing to work without investing isn't caution. It's postponing a decision whose cost increases every single day. Every month you don't invest is a month of compound growth lost. Forever. Unrecoverable. And starting to invest now, even modestly, isn't a sacrifice. It's buying your future freedom with your present money. It's deciding that your future time is worth more than your current comfort. It's making the only bet where the odds are clearly on your side, because the global market has grown an average of 8 to 10% per year over the last century. Not every year, not smoothly, but over time. Always, despite wars, recessions, crashes, and pandemics, always upward over the long run. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to watch the markets. You don't need to pick stocks. A global index fund, an automatic transfer, and patience. That's the whole secret. Not sexy, not exciting, not Instagram-worthy, but terrifyingly, relentlessly effective. Financial freedom isn't reserved for the wealthy. It's reserved for those who understood that a salary is a tool, not a destination. We started this video with Thomas in his car, $340 left. That inexplicable feeling of a man who earns well and has nothing. Now you know why. Now you know the trap. Lifestyle inflation, the salary treadmill, the system designed to make sure you spend everything you earn. Now you know the mechanism, the 20%, the automatic transfer, the compound interest working while you sleep. And now you know the truth nobody dares to say. Financial freedom isn't about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep. And how much you put to work. For long enough, without flinching. That's it. That's really all there is to it. Here's someone we haven't met yet. Her name is Layla, 35 years old, single mother, 2 kids, ages 8 and 10. She works a regular job, never earned more than $2,000 a month in her life. No inheritance, no family safety net, no financial background whatsoever. And 3 miles from where Thomas is sitting in that parking garage staring at $340, Layla just put her kids to bed. She opens her laptop and checks a number that has been quietly growing for 7 years. Not her salary, not her savings account. Her passive income, the money her assets generate every single month while she sleeps, while she works, while she helps with homework and cooks dinner and does everything a single mother does, alone, every single day, $200 a month. That's all she started with. And what she built from that, what she is about to show us, is going to completely reframe everything Thomas and Matthew thought they understood about financial freedom. Because Thomas earns $5,000 a month and has $340 left. Matthew earns $2,500 and is quietly building something real. But Layla earns $2,000 a month. And she is closer to financial freedom than either of them. The next video is hers, and I promise you won't see it coming.